Hello, and welcome to the podcast Fly with Mel. If you're an overthinker, a high performer, or simply someone trying to understand yourself better, you are in the right place. Here, we talk about mindset, change of environment, self-love, relationships, and all the real-life messiness that comes with becoming who you are and who you want to be. If you're ready to transform your life, understand yourself on a deeper level, and finally break old patterns, sit tight. I'm Mel, a certified life coach and NLP Master Practitioner, and I use this platform to share self-reflections and conversations with the people I meet along the way. Because I truly believe that everyone you meet has something to teach you. So take a seat and enjoy the flight. Today, I didn't sit down to record because I had a big plan. Today, I am recording because I'm in a moment of reflection. And I know I'm not the only one, especially at the end of the year. It's the end of 2025 today, and I have decided to record the last podcast of the year. I was reflecting on it and thinking, should I just release it next year, keep it for like a better time? But then I was like, you know what? The energy I'm feeling right now, I might not be the only one feeling it. And I hope this episode can inspire you, motivate you, no matter where you are at in your journey. Because lately I've been questioning my voice a lot, my language, to be honest with you, my language in English related to my business, as I shifted my business from the French market to now expand myself on the English market. So I've been questioning a lot my voice out there, not in a dramatic way, but in that quiet space where you feel something is shifting. And I don't know if you felt that way lately or in the past, but you're trying to build something so strongly and you're so sure about what you're trying to do, but at the same time, some external things or factors are doubting you. But it's also to just bring consciousness about all these fears and the fact that it's completely normal, because after reflecting on it a lot, and I'm still reflecting on it, I also brought a lot of awareness around it. And that helped me to still keep going. It's like having the doubt, but being okay with them. It's like fear, right? It's like having the fear, but bringing awareness towards the fear and being okay with it, knowing that the fear is here to protect you, for example. And so being okay with that. And I think doubts are also acting similarly as fears. It's like here to protect you from some stuff that are new to you, something that are completely strange, and your brain isn't used to it. So your brain is secretly scared of it. So it's sending you threatening signals to tell you, hey, are you sure where you're going? Because I'm not sure about that. And so you're doubting. And anyway, so to be completely honest with you guys, even this episode right now that I have come up with zero structure at all. I'm really just like sitting right now in my room, and I'm with my mic, and I'm trying to just find the best way to bring to you the awareness that I'm trying to bring to you. And even doing that is a very hard exercise for me because, it's like my English is not my first language. It's not my native language. And even though I hate finding myself excuses, and my idea is really not to put myself in the victim mindset right now, but I have to tell you, sometimes it is hard for someone who is not native English to speak in English and to express himself or herself fully without being scared to not have the right accent, not have the right words, not have the right pronunciation, or, using a word wrongly, or these kind of things. And so sometimes you kind of second guess what you're trying to say, and you want to make sure that it comes up the right way. That whole thing about doubt and fear, and that is all related to identity. And that's what I discovered with myself right now, with all the doubts I'm having towards my business, So to give you context, Fly with Mel is operating now since quite some time, to be honest. And when I really started a long time ago, just my podcast, I started it in French. Then I started to have some episodes in English as well, because I was meeting some people which were so inspiring that I didn't want to miss the conversation and to record it, and to record it on a platform where I could share it to some people. So I started to do like a mix of, French and English. And then I really scaled up in my skills, got some certifications in life coaching and then in NLP, so neuro-linguistic programming, and then opened my business eventually, officially, the business Fly with Mel. And so when I did all of that, I started to really try to position myself with a business mindset, right? So I had to shift towards one language only to not confuse everyone and to target a specific niche. And I wanted to start, small and narrow and easy and comfortable. What is easy and comfortable to me? It's like my primary language, so French. So I started with doing everything on the French market, and it blew up. To be honest, it blew up, and it blew my mind how it blew up. Like, I started to do only podcast episode in French. My content on Instagram was in French only, and I started to attract a lot of leads very naturally and organically. I'm going to knock on wood and touch my head right now, because, there is a saying that say, when it's for you, it will come to you naturally. It will flow. You won't have to force anything. And I remember when I officially opened my business and I started to just, say it out loud online and say, I'm a coach and you can come to me and you can book a call and la, la, la. And every single week I would wake up and see on my phone new leads coming up, like new emails with like XYZ has registered to book a call for your clarity call for the coaching. And I would be like, looking at my partner every day and every week, I would be like, that's insane. That's insane. Like, he was even super surprised in a good way. He was very happy for me, but he was like, do you realize you don't even put any ads out there? You don't even put any money towards marketing. The only thing you're doing, it's already a lot when you're creating content, it's like I was creating content, putting it out there, and it was just coming to me, and I had all my first clients. And like, when I'm saying first clients, I'm talking here about at least 30 to 40 first clients came like that, like so easily. Then I started to put on some ads and to market differently and all that, but it was just insane, and it was all for the French market. So of course, when you scale up and you start to have a different direction in life and a different vision, and after sitting down with some mentors and also business coach, I realized that my vision long term is really to expand myself in Australia. So in English, right? I am local here. I'm based here. I'm living here. I am creating my whole life here. So that's what I want. I want to have English speakers. I want to be able to help people who are like me, who are expats from all over the world and who are at the moment based either in Australia or anywhere else in the world, but had the same similar story, for example. But I do also want to continue to help French people, but French people who might be more open and have at least some basics in English to maybe understand the podcast I'm talking about right now. But at least, I can coach still in French and in English, and just, So that was the whole idea behind rebranding my brand, Fly with Mel, and to go from French to English. And I am still doubting of it, because it is a bit like starting from scratch, it's not just about you take everything and you copy paste and you do it again. No, I had to rework on my niche. I had also culturally, you have like different type of ways to attract people, to talk to people. The message doesn't land the same way. There are a lot of things that changed. And by doing so, I realized that leads were not coming as fast and as big as the French ones were coming. And so, of course, and I'm super transparent with you guys, my skills are exactly the same. In fact, I feel like my skills are even better in English, because I have done all my certification in English and I have started all my coaching sessions in English. And I coach people in English on a monthly basis here, because, I still, I have like some people with which were in my school, and I'm still coaching them, and we are still coaching each other and all this kind of thing to keep some skills growing. Anyway, all of that to say that it's not about a skill doubt or issue. It's really about the marketing thing, but also the voice in my head, which is constantly pushing me down about that English market, where I'm like, do I really belong here? At some point I was even thinking, maybe I'm a fraud. Who will want to hear from a person who is speaking in English but has a French accent, and maybe is not really coming with the right words and all this kind of thing? And who is really going to give me, credibility? Maybe people are going to really look at me and think like, oh my God, like, who is she? Who does she think she is? And I realized that a lot of these limiting beliefs came from things that I've heard in the past. either towards me or culturally. In France, it's true that a lot of French people might make fun of you if you start to speak in English because they might think, oh my God, you're showing up, you're showing off. There is this kind of thinking. That's the first thing. And then also the fear about what will people think, French people, about me changing straight away. Do they think that I'm betraying them? Do they think that I don't care about them anymore? Like, who am I? Like, that whole thing. And that whole thing is a shift of identity. So I'm taking right now my whole story about my business to also talk to you about what you might be experiencing right now. If you're feeling a bit lost, if you're feeling stuck, or if you're feeling, a bit like unsure about a decision that you have to make or a direction you are taking, that might just be because you're shifting your identity. And it is hard to say goodbye to a person who you used to be, the old you, and to then welcome a new you that you're not even sure about yet because you haven't met that person yet, So it is hard to shift identity. So that idea about me with that business coming from the French market to the English market, which is a complete shift of identity because I have to adapt everything. And even myself, I love to make jokes in French. I love to always be, bubbly, funny, this, that. And sometimes in English, it doesn't land the same way. First of all, the expressions and the funny French expression I know are not the same in English, and they don't even mean anything. And then the way I will like to joke around might not land the same way when I'm trying to joke with English people. Or maybe that's, again, another limiting belief that I have myself. But all of that to say that's a different identity. I have to put in my mind that it is okay for me to don't always have the right words, that people will still come to see me and to listen to me because they are not coming for the perfect wording. They are coming for the energy, It's like when you go and you like someone, an artist or a shop, or, you go to a specific shop instead of another one, even though you have 100,000 same shops out there, because sometimes you just love the cashier, or the person who is serving you over there. You like the energy of that person, so you will go for that person. Some artists, who will speak a different language, or who maybe sometimes sings song that you don't even know what wording and what words they say, but you just love the vibe of the song. You're vibing on it. And once I'm telling you that, and I'm just realizing I used to always, dance on English songs when I was younger, and I didn't even know what they were singing, just because I love the vibe. So just by thinking all this stuff, you realize, oh, hang on, it's not about being perfect in any industry or in anything that you do. It's about being yourself. Because whenever you start to be yourself, and with your own energy, that's what people will feel. They will feel your authenticity. They will feel who you are, and they will understand what you're trying to do or trying to say. And for me, when I started to shift my business in English, I know I was not my authentic self because I was trying to fit in. I was trying to be the exact perfect, the perfect English speaker. I wanted to be very legitimate online and for people to see me as like a very high valued coach. And so I would not say the wrong words, not joke around, I thought that's who I had to be to fit in and to be accepted online and on the English market, to expand myself and la la la. Well, the results showed me that it is not the case, because I am not always fully myself. I am trying to, as much as I'm thinking that I am doing myself, I'm not. Because sometimes I look at stuff that I put online and I'm like, yeah, that's me, but that's the me who is trying to be perfect and to fit in. That's not the me who is clumsy, who is joking around, who is not constantly perfect with all her wordings, who is not, all of that to say that I reflected on my business and my stuff. And again, I don't like this episode turning around just me, and my business. But that's just to give you an idea of what I'm trying to say when I'm saying shifting identity is not always easy. And so that's why we can feel stuck and lost sometimes. But for example, Fly with Mel is really about leaving survival mode, choosing expansion over familiarity. That's one thing I always do. I challenge myself. I love to get out of my comfort zone, change the paradigm, change all the stuff that I'm used to change my environment. Because when we do that, that's when we grow. That's when we start to build more safety from the inside, because suddenly we tell our brain, hang on, I'm going to start that new thing. I'm going to doubt. I'm going to be scared. Maybe I'm going to fail, but at least I'm going to show myself and prove myself that I tried and that I can try it and it's fine. And even if I fail, it is okay. And as I'm telling you that right now, I am trying to also tell myself, Mel, it is okay if it doesn't work out the way you want, because you know it will work out in a way anyway at some point, because I believe in it, in that business. And as much as I do believe in my thing, I want you to believe in whatever you're trying to do. If today you are doubting yourself, try to come back to the identity you had before and ask yourself, is this identity still here today with the person I'm trying to become? Is this identity still with me today with the thing I'm trying to create? And is it serving that new thing that I'm trying to do? Is it serving me to keep my old me, but when I'm trying to create and to become that new version of me? Sometimes you have some addiction, some habits, some certain lifestyle that won't really match the new identity that you're trying to have. And because you're confused in between the old you and the new you that you're trying to become, that's where you can feel lost or stuck. And that's where a lot of people who are trying to expand and to change can really be in that situation when they really feel lost or disconnected. And when you feel disconnected from yourself, it doesn't always mean you're off track, based on what I just said before. Very often, it means your identity hasn't fully caught up with your environment yet. Because think about it, like when you change countries, when you change language, when you change the way you show up in the world, when you change whatever you're changing right now, okay, you're changing your work, relationship, anything. Your nervous system will lose its familiar reference points because everything becomes new, unfamiliar. This is strange. So your brain will translate new things as like something is wrong. That can also translate with like you feel slower in your reactions. You will take more time to take some decisions. You will hesitate more often before expressing yourself or before taking action. You will not get the immediate sense of ease that you used to have before because you're trying to do something that is completely new to you and to your brain. So you will question yourself more because it's really about you being between two versions of yourself. And this is what an identity shift actually feels like. When you're in survival mode, for example, identity is very clear. You know how to act, you know how to perform, you know what works for you, you know what you want to do, you're in control, la la la. But when you suddenly choose expansion over familiarity, your old identity stops working and the new one isn't fully embodied yet. So when you move, for example, from survival mode to a version of you who is completely relaxed and chill and not under control, this is completely freaking out. It's like you will freak out. You will be like, oh my God, what am I doing right now? Someone who is in constant survival mode is someone who is constantly productive. This is someone who wants to make the most out of life and think that making the most out of life is about completely like constantly performing, constantly being productive, constantly doing things, doing. Okay. But when we take that version and we try to transform it to become a version that is more chill and who is taking the most out of life by also respecting herself, her boundaries, her energy, la la la, and by chilling a bit, resting when that person needs to, the brain is going to think that this is danger, that this is a big threat to just sit in silence and do nothing. The brain is not used to that. This is not familiar. So that person is going to be completely confused between her old identity, who is used to do a lot of things, and her new identity that she's trying to become more chill, less stressed, less in control. So her old patterns might come back. And while she is trying to set up the new patterns and the new habits, she might have a lot of doubts. She might think, it's not working. In fact, it's stressing me more. I don't even know if I'm doing the right thing. When am I going to see results? It is not coming fast. La, 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 I love to say la la la. Is this very French? I don't know. So yeah, when you choose really to expand yourself and to get out of your comfort zone and what you already know and what is familiar, that's where the confusion comes in. And that's where your identity is shifting, but also you're confused. And that phase of confusion can take some time, and you might be in it right now if you're like with me. But it is okay. And, I started this episode by saying it's all about bringing awareness and not more doubts, because everything starts with awareness. When you're conscious about your thought, when you're aware of the fact that this is happening right now in your brain and this is normal, that's where you start to lower the stress and you're like, okay, I'm confused, but that's completely part of it. It is part of the process. It just means I am on the right path. Like that whole space and phase can feel very uncomfortable for you. Awkward even, because sometimes you don't even recognize yourself because you don't even know that new version of you that you're trying to become. But this whole phase is really a sign of growth. It just means you are exactly doing what you should be doing right now for you. It is the moment where your system is learning a new way of being safe. And safety doesn't only come from confidence or certainty, okay? It comes from repetition. That's what the brain needs. That's how the brain works. The brain works with repetition. When you repeat to the brain many, many times a new habit, let's say, and show it that it is safe and it is comfortable and it is fine and it's going to make you feel better over time, you repeat that over and over, and at some point the brain eases to it and is fine with it and understands, oh, okay, that is safety when I do that, in fact. Safety comes from exposure, from allowing yourself to be seen before you feel ready to be seen. So let's end up this episode on a good note and on a good reminder, which is that feeling uncomfortable doesn't automatically mean that you're forcing something that isn't meant for you. Very often, it means you've stepped outside what was familiar, and your system is just learning a new way of being safe and of becoming a new you. So Fly with Mel has always been about this, about living survival mode, choosing expansion over familiarity, and building safety from the inside. So when you're in that space between who you were and who you're becoming, clarity doesn't come from thinking harder. It really comes from staying present, from continuing to show up, even when you don't feel like it, and from letting your nervous system catch up with the life you are creating right now. So again, if you really feel unsure about something about yourself right now, you're not lost. You are just in transition. Okay? Know that you're not behind. You're exactly at the right place. You're integrating. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I really hope this episode, which was a bit without structure and who really flowed naturally, I hope it inspired you in some ways. Take care. Until the next one. Thank you for listening to Fly with Mel. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, share, and leave a review. It will really, really help me to reach more people who need to hear these messages. And remember, the power to change your story is already in you.